Welcome to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 15. It actually is like 21, but it's 15 for us episodically. As always, I am Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hi.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
That cadence was weird.
I told you, it
It
has to be different every time.
Okay.
It can't be the same.
It came off a little strange.
We don't want to be predictable.
Because if we're spewing out the same thing over and over each episode, then we become predictable, we become boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that can't happen here. If we expect to continue to make the moves we're making, to see the growth that we've seen, you know.
I was just going to let you keep talking.
Are we not predictable, though? We come together every Tuesday night at the same time. We watch the same show.
I will say, as the season's gotten longer, you show up to our house later and later.
I do.
You do.
And for good reason. Tonight, I blame it on all the country guys. I can call them rednecks because I live in the South. That I went to Starbucks, which I go way too much, to go up there, drink some coffee, work on some pictures that I needed to get through. And I was at a table all by myself. I was in a cozy spot. I felt good. And then, I kid you not, I was telling Hannah before we came up here.
Well, you're telling me too.
No, but he was really telling me. You were
Right.
You were just within
You were letting the
hearing
dogs
distance.
out.
Yeah.
Literally about 12 of them came in and just surrounded my table. I was cornered in. If I wanted to get out, I couldn't have. And I borderline deal with claustrophobia. I don't like to be surrounded. I don't like for someone to be standing over me. And so I was flustered. And so if I was late, and I was,
You were? Yeah.
You were.
I blame it on them.
Well, the real kicker here is the fact that 12 rednecks walked into a Starbucks.
They did. Craziest thing.
They got to drink coffee too.
They do, but I mean,
Most of them drink beer.
they took my bag out of the seat beside me.
Did they ask?
No. I said, hey, man, let me take that from you because it's my bag. Right?
It almost was their bag.
Did you think he was going to walk out with it?
No, he just, don't touch my stuff.
It's a power move.
Right?
That was a
So,
power move.
nonetheless, and I had another instance today, like, we all go to the bathroom, right?
No.
So, there's
Jake,
nothing.
what's a bathroom?
Here's what happened. And me and Marie actually interacted a little bit about this on Twitter. I don't remember her exact tweet, but I said something along the lines of, it's kind of like when you go to do number 2 in the bathroom at work or something, and there's 7 stalls, okay? And you go to the one that's second from the last or from the end. So there's like 4 or 5 other stalls to your left. And a guy comes in and sits right beside you. Nothing drives me more crazy than that.
He just wanted to hold hands underneath the wall.
So that's what I said in my
Yeah.
tweet. Go back and look. I said, we may as well have been holding hands. Do you want to hold my hand while we do that?
I think that's where I got
my
that from.
thing is, if I ever need to do the number 2, I either hold it until I get home and can use my own toilet because I hate public
hate
bathrooms.
Sometimes you can't, though.
Or I'll go in, and if there's anybody else in the bathroom, I'll sit there and I'll wait until the bathroom is emptied.
And-
doesn't matter how long of a wait. I'll just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
This is a podcast about the challenge.
Right. But we've got to have some sort of segue.
That's a great one.
So, and Brad was talking
Bathroom
about
talk.
licking clean
Yeah.
version butt.
Yeah.
tonight,
Licking
so-
butt and
He had-
wiping toilet paper.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
some weird phrases tonight.
So, real quick, there is something I wanted to address
Okay.
involving you.
Something else.
You celebrated your 30th birthday.
I did.
You're old.
This is my
Past
first
week.
episode in the 30s.
You're getting a little gray.
He's been having gray.
Are you okay with that?
Oh, I don't care at all. It doesn't bother me.
So, here's my problem.
With me?
Yeah, because
Because he's old?
no, I'm okay with that. But you never like any of my stuff on social media anyway.
He doesn't like my stuff either.
Anything I post. But he'll like Chris, his buddy Canada Chris. I don't know if he wants me saying his last name, but Canada Chris, he'll like his stuff and like these people he
Not
never.
really.
So my point being is that I had a real sweet. If anybody saw it on Twitter, I put a picture of us up, even from the podcast.
That's where I saw
Twitter
it.
account. Did you not see it from my personal?
I thought it was from the podcast.
No, I put it up on my
I
personal.
didn't see it.
on Facebook,
I
on
will
Instagram, on Twitter. I'm not finished. And you still didn't like it. I told you I wished you a happy birthday.
I saw it on all the podcast stuff, and I thought that's what it was all from, because I typically avoid Facebook for like the whole like 24 hours or so of the actual birthday, because
It's overwhelming.
and if you try to reply to one, it's too much. And so that's why I just assumed it was all from the podcast, because I did see like Shane like retweeted it and some things like that. I mean, I gave you a shout out on our podcast whenever, so I thought it was the same thing when it was your birthday.
Well, but
I didn't get one for my birthday.
That's because we haven't been recording during your birthday.
But we didn't. I didn't get anything from your personal though. You didn't wish me happy birthday from your personal accounts.
I probably didn't.
So here's what I want to happen is while we're going along, I want you to go like.
You want me to just like them right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to think about it.
All right.
Well, Jake, if it makes you feel any better, I made an Instagram post that made its way to Twitter and Facebook through what is it? The sharing when you post on Instagram, it goes to the other accounts.
That's right.
Well, I had like 7 different pictures and a nice little paragraph, lots of hashtags that were super cute. And he didn't like it, didn't comment.
Listen, do you guys understand that our
Nothing.
relationship does not depend on social media?
I expect to get a like on my stuff.
That should have no bearing on...
Jake, you should be more used to it than I am. But I will say, I understand how you feel, because everything that just came out of your mouth, it was my first birthday after we got married. He posted one picture on Instagram and wrote, "Happy birthday, Hannah, period. I love you, period." That was it.
You're not the most thoughtful guy.
And I was so mad.
my
I was so
life
mad.
is not lived out on social media.
Because all of my friends were like, they came up to me privately and they said, "Hannah, is that really all that he posted?"
Yeah,
and I was like,
that measures how much I love her.
I was like, yeah, and they're like, they literally, one of them turned to me and said, "That's really sad."
Yeah, but her friends are all stupid, so...
God.
Well, all of my friends, their husbands, fiancés, and boyfriends post big, long, sappy posts.
That's right.
Very heartfelt messages.
It's one time a year.
I
is
did
all
it.
I'm saying. But I want to like one time a year.
Okay, just one time a year. Yeah, so this is a podcast about the challenge, and
We really need to air out our baggage before we get.
We needed to
before
last
we got
week.
into this.
yeah, last week it was... I think the episode turned out pretty good, but
You guys.
It ended well.
You guys made me more uncomfortable than I have ever been in my life.
I will say...
Not in an inappropriate way.
Zach started taking his shirt off, and
No.
no, not that
Gross.
kind of uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
You guys were at each other's throats.
I will say, for my defense...
You ticked her off.
Yeah,
you
but-
pissed her off.
But let's be honest. Why was she upset?
Listen, Jake, you remember this. Before we even started watching last week's episode, I turned to you and I said, "Jake, I am very close to a mental breakdown. Please do not do anything to upset me and push me off the edge."
Right.
You said, "Okay." I gave you a pretty good warning. And I turned to Zachary and I gave him a thorough warning.
Which he...
In depth. And I told him, I said, "You of all people will be the one that pushes the wrong button." And it's gonna just push me over the edge. And then he did it in the middle of recording.
That's okay. So from
Real quick, what this makes me think of is, you know the movie A Christmas Story?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know after she, I can't remember the main kid's name, but after
Ralphie.
she puts Ralphie, after his mom puts the soap in his mouth and she's done
Yeah.
with the soap in the mouth, she tells him to go to his room and go to bed. And it's off camera, but he gives her a look and she says, "Don't you give me that look, you're going to get it!"
I don't remember that part.
That's what Hannah did to you.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's if we're being honest, it was her biological time of need. And
It's that time of the month.
yeah. And I already knew that, and the only thing was I had been working a lot, and I was already tired from work, and I was worried that the show was not going well from my end, from the host up top, and the whole time she was on her phone on social media.
I was working my second job.
I
was working my second job. I even showed it to you.
Yeah. Anyway,
and then you had to apologize for that.
No, I texted you so I wouldn't have to say it on the mic. I was like, hey, can you please get off your phone? It's being really distracting to me because I stare directly across to you when we record. Jake's to my right, and you didn't respond to it. So I stopped the podcast, and then we talked about it, and then that's when it got awkward. And then, so we start recording again. Me and Jake keep talking. We go for about 20 minutes, and then we just stop again because we're like, you can't
not talk.
Yeah, Hannah can't be here and like intro herself up top and then just not talk the rest of the episode because she was mad at me. And so it turns out we had been talking for 20 minutes and not recording anyway.
So it kind of worked out.
We had to start back all over again, and then everyone jumped in, and it was fine, and it worked out fine. But
I was extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I said that at one point. I was like, just don't do this to him. I was like, don't put him through this.
I didn't know if I should leave. I didn't know if I should go downstairs with the dogs, stay put.
Well, I just
stay put like a dog.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the show going, and it turned out all right. And again, we're normal people. It happens.
It happens.
Yeah,
that's true love.
It's been almost 3 years. You still have some things that you need to learn.
Just me. Just me.
And last week was...
What about me?
Last week was a lesson that you had to learn in front of Jake.
Do I have any lessons?
Well, I think we discussed the lessons that you need to learn earlier before we started recording about using foul language in my household.
We may or may not have said dirty words off mic.
Under my roof.
So...
we've wasted enough time airing out our grievances. Let's get to the stuff we need to get to.
Quick things up top. Today, I haven't been on Reddit or social media, honestly, a lot this past week, especially compared to normal, like replying to emails and all that. Jake took care of some of that this week. But I got on Reddit today, just randomly, because I try to check up before we record, and there was like a super nice, like, Smashing Heads podcast appreciation post on Reddit about us, and it was like top to bottom, all the comments overwhelmingly positive.
Well, one, the fact that there's a Reddit thread about us
that we didn't start.
It was like a thing of its own. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it had been upvoted like 20 plus times, and
some guy thinks that we're disgustingly positive, which I laughed so hard at. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, whoever started the thread said that, and again,
which he may not think that after tonight's episode.
Well, but just like we may come across that way, but for me personally, like by nature, I'm
the opposite,
overly cynical, and
we've all come very close to killing one another.
Yeah. And so
I am the one that is disgustingly positive.
Yeah, and so that's why we balance each other out. But again, I know we had at least one person that reached out and said, because of the positivity of this thread, I'm going to listen to you guys tonight. I've never have before. So,
which is really cool. It's an interesting first episode for you to listen to, person.
In the words of the New Day wrestling faction, tag team, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, the guys with the trombone.
That's right, and the Bootios.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you're talking about for a second.
We promote the power of positivity.
Yeah. And so we did have one person say, I wish they were a little more knowledgeable of past seasons and would watch past seasons. Here's the thing. We've watched the past season. Like, I mean, me and Jake especially have watched from like 2005 on.
But as much as we've watched and as recently as we've watched, it all runs together.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of this podcast, we were trying to do the current season as well as old seasons concurrently, and everything, the timelines were getting very mixed up.
And so I don't have the time for that.
So we've seen basically everything. We haven't watched Champs vs. Stars, which I don't think is canon. Like
I have.
I don't count those wins as normal challenge wins.
While you're spitting out facts, don't make up lies about me. I have watched.
You have watched
Champs vs. Stars.
We watched the first two.
As in he and I.
Yeah, we have not watched me and Hannah have not watched the previous one.
Well, that's not how I took it, Han.
So again, we watch them. It's just sometimes when we're trying to record and not have to edit things out, we just talk, and sometimes we will misquote things or get timelines confused because a lot of those seasons run together. If we're being honest, it's a lot of the same people over and over again. So
that's why we have stat checker Paul. he is really just on the ball about it. He always listens and immediately responds in an email with everything that we got wrong or misspoke on. So that's what he does for us.
I wanted you to bring the email up. She hit the table with her pen.
Oh,
I dropped my pen.
well, you were just pointing at me, and I.
Yeah, I want you to bring up the email because we got a listener.
Listener?
Well, that's how he would say it.
listener.
That's how he would say it.
We got our first email outside of the U.S.
That I can remember for sure.
Which was really cool.
Really cool.
The guy from Iceland. I'm gonna let Jake try to pronounce his name. Her name, his name. I'm not sure.
Go for it.
Halldor Idvar Stephenson. There's got to be a little something on that, right?
Yeah, you got to put a little bit of twang on it.
But it was like
A little bit, right?
It's like a Spanish accent that you put on that.
I said you got to put a little bit of twang on it. I don't know what's wrong with you. But anyway, he reached out and he's like, "Hey, I'm a listener from Iceland. I found you guys from Devin's interview and just..."
He said, "Bring him back, please."
What?
He said, "Bring him back, please."
Oh, yeah, we'd love to have Devin back. We talked about that.
Yeah,
so.
Devin's super cool.
Oh man, no, but really cool to get that email from Iceland.
I wonder, since going back a couple podcasts, if he's listened or not. I suggested D2 The Mighty Ducks.
Right.
I wonder if he views that movie in a different light than what we do. Because
Canada loves their hockey.
do
Do they not?
Iceland is not part of Canada.
Why did I say Canada?
They're a sovereign
Yeah,
nation.
why did you say
I don't know why I
Canada?
said Canada.
not even-
I don't think Iceland's in Canada.
Not even
It's
close.
up. It's up, but it's
I don't know why I said Canada.
so Iceland in
Is
D2.
Iceland the unknown state?
Iceland in D2 is the bad guys, and the Mighty Ducks are Team USA.
I'm
And
sweating.
so
Well, maybe we need to watch a movie where the Americans are the bad guys.
that's never gonna happen.
Not in America.
And so, yeah, I wonder if he views that as, oh, we were wrongfully beat by these jersey changing.
Right.
He probably would use some Icelandic curse words,
Right.
if we're being honest.
Which I'm.
Hey, don't put curse words in his mouth. He may not be someone that uses foul language.
I think everyone in Canada does. That was a joke.
Yeah.
But thank you, Iceland. It's great to hear from you. Hit us up anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah,
Let's get into tonight.
just a little tease. I've got some little tidbits. I've been going through our old episodes, so stick around. I've got some funny highlights to. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was going to be later, like another episode.
Yeah, but we're gonna do like
Okay.
a full episode. I just want to bring up some things that'll
Okay, that's
make
fine.
us laugh.
What are you talking about?
Just hold on till the end.
Hold your horses.
Take us in.
Here we go.
Armageddon.
No, we're not starting with Armageddon.
This is like me opening an episode tonight.
Yeah. So tonight started. Well, it actually did kind of start in Armageddon. The double elimination threw me off because we ended with Armageddon as well. But we did actually start in Armageddon with Shane and Marie kind of going at it.
Yeah.
I know. I had it right.
Yeah, well, it just threw me. And again,
Jake, stop taking your clothes off.
It's hot in here.
This is not
it
your
is
house.
kind of hot in here. So they're getting into it, the little love hate thing. I think they're fine now, but they did block each other on Twitter this past week or Instagram one.
Well, Shane and Marie were two of those people that from the show, they were really good friends in real life. Like you knew it, and they've been doing the Instagram live videos together.
Which is why it's weird watching this.
Yeah.
Like watching them interact like this.
It was I don't know. But I did have a quote from Cara right before they went into elimination. Cara told Marie that she lost one fake friend but gained one real one.
Which I think is the exact opposite of what actually happened.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Shane is her real friend in real life and Cara is not.
Yeah. That's kind of the vibe that I got. From the interactions that I've seen recently, which is post
Show.
post filming, it doesn't seem like they're legitimate friends.
No, and it seemed, and again, we're a little biased in this because we've interviewed Shane and Marie, and they both had very nice things to say about each other, and
they're both just great in general.
Yeah.
And so,
But Maria's like generally angry to start this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, she's ticked off.
What do
Like, you can see it in her face.
Yeah, we know about Marnie, right? What do you think Marie's angry persona is called?
Melanie.
That's a good one.
I don't remember. I don't.
Mangry.
The drunk one was the drunk one was whatever Zach's aunt was called, and I don't remember.
Marnie?
Was that Marnie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was so many weeks ago.
That's why they use that nickname so often.
So the funny thing that Shane did is, he starts off, Marie's yelling at him, angry at him, and he's mentions how she's still his friend, and then 10 seconds later is like, I'm going to blast all your stuff on Twitter,
Yeah.
which he kind of went on some sort of Twitter deal today in regards
I've been
to
kind
her.
of off of it. I didn't see
I
it.
didn't see it.
They kind of responded to it like she did lightheartedly, but he did kind of
Well, yeah,
say some things
come
on
at
Twitter
her.
today.
They
Yeah.
unblocked each other so they could do some live thing together. So I think they're mostly fine.
Like Maria and Cara Maria, and me wanting to see that relationship thrive, I want to see Marie and Shane continue to thrive even more.
Okay.
I think
what I want.
Marie and Shane have been legitimate friends for long enough that she was really upset by what happened in tonight's episode when it happened. But I think that they're fine. Honestly.
Yeah, I would think so.
In deep down in my heart, I think that they're fine.
We love them, but they both know they can be crazy.
I wonder if Sylvia still hates her guts.
They said I think they're fine now.
Yeah?
I think Marie said that last week.
That relationship I'm not as interested in, but
Not really,
no.
but every time that it cut to Sylvia in tonight's episode, she looked like she wanted to murder Marie.
If I'm being honest, I'm not ever really interested in Sylvia's storylines.
that's a pretty terrible thing to say.
You're gonna get a lot of people
I know.
upset.
It's just that it's kind of boring to me. The headbutt was the best thing she's ever done for me.
Well, we didn't watch her real world.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable saying these things about her. I think is it mean?
We got to be honest with our fans.
I get it.
Because
Yeah,
we're
but,
fans.
I mean, I have to like Sylvia to an extent because she's a fellow realtor.
And a Chiefs fan.
Uh-huh.
So,
We don't need to talk football this week.
No, thank
we
you.
do not.
Shout out Chico.
Yep. So, one thing that I wanted to get on,
I'm wearing a Titan shirt though.
there's been an equalizer in every elimination.
Yeah, I said that while we were
Some
watching.
of them have been obvious just by watching. Some of them not so much.
Like the Devin and Corey one.
Right. Tonight, they didn't explain an equalizer. They didn't mention an
they never do.
equalizer. The only thing I could have guessed was maybe they made the walls on the boys' side a little thicker.
So we talked to Devin about this. MTV's not going to talk about the equalizers on air. Like we know this information, but it's not ever been from the show itself. Because again, they don't want to say one. They don't want to say like someone's inferior. But at the same time, we know throughout the whole season, when it's been mixed pairs or guys versus girls, there's been some sort of an equalizer. And this was a girl-girl team going against a guy-guy team that was basically mostly strength, like breaking through things.
Yeah.
And I would assume there was an equalizer, like you said, like either like the walls were thicker, because I think they said that happened with Hunter and the elimination with him and
Yeah,
Ashley.
I think that's why I thought that.
And like that, Angela and Faith didn't have that. So we'll see, but at the same time, who knows? I'm sure we'll hear from somewhere.
Well, I mean, it doesn't make sense that they don't mention the equalizer. To me, it doesn't make sense because it's so obvious. Because, I mean, obviously, Shane and Nelson won tonight's elimination.
Pretty easily, honestly.
By kind of like a long shot. And then you realize somebody made the comment that with Cara and Marine Redemption House, there's only 2 girls left in the main house, and they're not even on the same team.
Yeah, Sylvia and Ashley.
The rest are guys.
Yeah.
And so I think that says a lot.
I mean, I don't think MTV will ever, on the record, say anything about equalizers. Because I will say, from my perspective, we kind of know a little bit of inside baseball with this just because we're so involved in it. I bet you 95% of the people that watch the show don't know anything about the equalizers and aren't like plugged in on message boards, on Reddit, things like that. So they don't know one way or the other.
Yeah, I guess. My personal preference going from here on out, if you're going to have teams of 2 and it's going to be guys and girls on a season, you need to have guy-girl teams.
There's just too many things to worry about, like when you're putting these games together, and you've got to worry about
if they're fair.
Right.
I agree. Like, it should just be the eliminations, the way they're set up should be fair across the board.
Yeah, it should be the same for everyone, no matter who's going in. And like Devin said in the interview, if it's an eating challenge and it's Devin versus CT, that's not really fair.
But they wouldn't handicap one way or the other for either of them.
And I think Devin also made a comment on Cara. She works out all the time, so she is very physically fit. She's very strong. But there's the majority of the girls in that come on the challenge are not, I guess, gym rats like she is. They don't.
I think Devin said that if they had to go like strength wise, like he should be handicapped like against her because she should beat him in everything.
Yeah.
But you were looking at a challenge like, or elimination like tonight, where it is strength.
Yeah.
And you're talking Shane and Nelson probably outweigh Cara Marie by 100 to 150 pounds.
Yeah, I'd say easily.
Easily, because
They're tall,
Shane is ripped and Nelson's ripped.
So, I mean, I just, that's really been my only complaint with these eliminations is that there's just too many variables you have to worry about.
Yeah, I agree. That this format's kind of weird all around this whole season, just because you've got so many other things to worry about that you can't just worry about if it's a good elimination.
Which, I mean, it was not an elimination that got me on my feet. I watched it kind of easily.
I'd say that's probably one of the least exciting eliminations of the season.
Yeah. We'll say.
But another thing is, I may be wrong on this, but every elimination that we've had so far in this season has been different. It's not the same elimination.
Yeah, we haven't had repeats yet, I don't think.
Like, even for the people coming out of Redemption House, it's been a different elimination for everybody.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I like that it's different.
So after Cara and Marie lose their elimination, they're sent to Redemption House.
Well, before they're sent to Redemption,
we see Zach and Amanda trying to have a heart-to-heart.
Well, before we get to that, I had a quick note.
What?
So Shane and Nelson win. I said it to you guys. Shane and Nelson have become good friends, but it's
Shane.
It seems
Shane said
it seems like Nelson is becoming gayer by the episode.
But Shane was so excited to see Nelson. He said that beautiful caramel, delicious man.
Yeah. Nelson's a handsome guy.
I know,
so
but like Nelson, like the phrases he's using, like Shane catches himself every time. Like what? Like he has to do like a double take on there.
What was it that
he's like?
He
those
said?
Holes were wide open or something.
I know. This
is what he said.
He said he had a key and I had a key.
This is what he said because I quoted it. It felt amazing to go through those holes.
Yeah.
And then Shane just laughs. He didn't say anything. He just started laughing.
The hilarious thing is I don't think Nelson has any idea what he's saying
I agree.
when he says it.
I don't think that he.
And like
I
even,
don't think he gets it.
Even when Shane is laughing behind him, I still don't think he understands why.
He's like, we did it. Yeah.
So
this season has really turned me into a Nelson fan.
Also, I still think Marie's pretty even with a blue face.
Yes.
Not sure how that happened.
I think
I don't understand.
I have a feeling. Oh, they punched the wall that she was. Because remember, they actually went through some walls that she was trying to get through, and they said when they were working their way out, they punched a wall and like it blew back on her face.
Okay.
But I think production probably was like, "Hey, that's funny. Don't wipe it off before we film your outro," and so they had to do all that.
Good job. Anyway, so it goes to Redemption House.
Mm-hmm.
This is. I'm thinking before Cara and Marie show up, Zach and Amanda are attempting to have a heart-to-heart. They're trying to talk to each other, trying to see how they can, I guess, compromise more for each other to help work better as a team. But for me, I just kept thinking it almost seems like it's a little too late to be having this conversation because they're already in the redemption house.
I feel like production said, hey, you guys need to talk through this on camera and see what comes up. Because they're both are so stubborn.
Yeah.
They would have not been like, hey, let's get together and talk about this.
I think Zach, I guess, cared. I don't think Zach really cares about Amanda, but I think
no.
he cared enough to remind her that she is or was playing for the money to help her dad.
Yeah, but I think that also might have been a little backhanded too. Like you need this money for your dad because again, I guess he's not in great health.
I thought I remember her saying something about
I read something
him being
about
in a hospital or something, but he told her that she needed it more than anybody else.
I was real frustrated with Zach watching that because I at least felt, maybe you guys didn't, that Amanda was actually trying to make this a team-oriented conversation, whereas Zach was still full on, this is my game.
Yeah,
not without saying it exactly.
I don't feel like she was like. I still don't feel like it was her idea to like, hey, let's come out and talk this through. I really do feel like they're like, hey, let's get you guys talking about this.
But I felt like
I did feel like she was more level-headed in that, and he was like, let's get this over with. That's literally like, I think he quoted that at the beginning. We might as well do it, get it over with.
Yeah.
I agree. They're both just stubborn, and she seemed in this moment to be at least trying a little harder, the way it was edited at least.
Yeah.
But again, we knew they were not going to work anything out.
I will say this. I think Amanda really is, just down to the core, a really stubborn person. But I feel like she, like some of the other people on this show, play a persona on the show. I don't think she's necessarily a bad person.
Well, it goes back to like what we've said all along. Like everyone on the show does what they do for a reason. Like even if it's like playing
you
up. You
remembered what I said. You do listen to me.
Well, I mean, you have to take in consideration if you want to get called back to be on another season, you need to be entertaining to some degree. Like you've got to make people, I guess, dive into the show.
You need a good villain, like you always do. Like that's, I mean, in sports, in anything, like you need someone that people love to root against. And this is the first person I know of that had people make a petition about her to not bring her back on the show.
Yeah, which was...
and there are people who have been much worse
than
her on this show.
Yeah.
I agree.
She just has a bad attitude a lot of times. And she gets... I mean, look, everybody at some point has gotten into it on this challenge. And I guess she told Cara Maria for her horse. I have these moments where I can't say things. Why does that happen to me?
I don't know. Amanda told Cara she hopes her
horse
dies.
That's what she said. And we love animals, so we certainly don't wish that on any animals.
Can I give you a hot take from my life that I've always lived by?
Oh boy.
I've always thought girls that were really obsessed with horses were pretty weird. Everyone I've ever met in real life was strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always been my thing. That's been a rule for me way before the challenge. And this just, again, Cara's her own weird little animal floating around out there.
We're all weird in our own way.
Again, but just my personal view has always been horse girls have always been strange.
Especially weird.
You're going to upset a lot of people.
Your words, not mine.
But you agreed with me.
I've seen...
Don't back out now. We're in this together.
Well, just so you know...
We are screwed.
When I was in the 4th grade, I had 8 different Horseland accounts.
The 4th grade, though?
Yeah. It was just the 4th grade.
Yeah. So, again.
But man, I loved Horseland.
I don't even know what that is.
It was like a website where you created like a profile and then you would get a horse and you would take care of it and feed it and like ride it in races and then earn money and then buy more horses. And then you could chat online with other people that had accounts.
So it was like World of Warcraft for horses.
Yeah, and
sounds exhausting.
I always felt like like I had friends from school that had accounts. That's how I knew about it. Because they told me.
Did you really?
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a whole group of us.
Wow.
But
Hashtag gamer girls.
no, but anybody that I talked to on that website that wasn't from school, I always, like, in the back of my mind, worried that it was some 45-year-old man.
It's probably Kara. She's like, hey, this is my horse.
Anyway.
So there's a little cut back to the main house, which essentially...
Horseland is not a sponsor.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe, if we're lucky.
But
I've not been on horseland.com in like 15 years.
There's a cut back to the main house. All we really get is Johnny and Tony are on their own.
Not much, yeah.
So, but we come back to the redemption house, which this is when Cara and Marie show up.
Yes.
Tell me what you're thinking when Polly is the first one.
To
I
hug-
always want your
to hug
Polly
her?
takes. Yes.
Is
Is this a ploy, or is he legitimately happy to see her?
both? Because he's admitted he was a fan of the show before coming in.
Right.
He said that to CT. He's on camera saying that. He knows she's the best girl in the show.
He knows that
Statistically.
she's one of the faces of the show.
Exactly. Oh, and it's
probably
working in his favor.
It's one of the
I'll say
only
that.
people in the main. She's one of the only people in the house, not just the main house, but in the house in general, that would have his back.
And let's just remember, at this time, he still has a girlfriend at home.
Yes.
You forget that, but
Well, even before Cara and Marie walk in the door, I don't know if you guys caught this, but they were trying to say, "Oh, who do you think it is?" And Natalie jokes that Cara might walk in.
Sorry.
typing up a storm over there.
Yeah. Anyway, so Natalie goes, "Yeah, what if Cara walks in?"
Yeah.
And so I think it was really funny. And then they walk in, and she's like, "Whoa!" Kyle, I don't know. Cara says that she looked at Kyle and felt nothing.
I don't believe her.
it
Yeah.
at all.
She's like, especially standing next to Polly.
I really don't believe that, especially after the whole necklace thing on her pillow. Like, that melted her heart.
Which was like, what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago in real time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Hannah. I think that's
I
all.
agreed with her.
I think Polly, because Cara was standing next to Kyle, standing right next to him.
Yeah.
And Polly walked up to her and gave her a full-on frontal hug.
Yeah.
I'm with Hannah.
Yeah, okay.
And I guess with you too.
Yeah.
I think she's still into the guy. I do.
Again, it was a weird...
Well, I mean, you even see just a few minutes later in the episode, Cam mentions how Cam and Kaylee and Cara and Marie are all team girl, and girls got each other's backs. You need more girls in the main house. You don't want an all boys final, yada yada. And so Cam's like thinking that Cara and Marie are going to have their back and decide to bring them with them if they pull the double cross, no matter what. But then Kyle pulls Cara to the side, and it's almost like you know
in
that,
the kitchen. Yeah.
You know that he knows that he still has some strings to pull over her.
Yeah, for sure.
He can still get to her in a way that other people can't. And so he's trying to talk Cara out of bringing Cam and Kaylee back with them to the main house if they pull a double cross. He's like, they're not going to have your back. It's not a thing. But the way it's the tone of voice that he uses with her.
He was whispering kind of too.
He's leaning his body into her. He's looking at her with the look, the look that you give like your significant other, like your partner. Like, it's an intimate look that you can share, and you know that you're getting to them in a way.
You know what they call that, how Cara responded to Kyle, right? Denial. kind of how you did with me back in the day when I was a little emo boy straightening my hair. You didn't want to associate with me, but deep down you knew I was your best friend. And here it stands today.
Well, sit.
Here we sit today. Yeah. I'm your best friend. So I think.
Well, Jake, I'm his best friend.
I'm my own best friend.
Debatable.
I don't like either of you.
I think that she doesn't want to love him anymore.
That sounds like it would be like a boy band song.
I think she kind of subconsciously knows that he has some kind of power over her, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like that he has that, but she knows it's there, and she doesn't want him to have it.
And these are just observations we make. I feel like we have to preface things with Cara.
But I feel like we're right about all of this.
Yeah, we do. Again, people are very, very strongly opinionated towards her, one way or the other.
We're not attacking her. Let's be clear about that.
It's just our observations.
We hope that Cara Maria is as successful as anyone in life. But we think this is an issue.
Yes.
That's our opinion. Doesn't make her a terrible person. It is what it is. Life happens.
Jake, do you think that Kyle wants her for her money, or do you think that he really has some kind of feelings for her?
They hooked up before she won all the money last season, which was a very significant amount.
Yeah,
She's won some before, but nothing like what she won last season.
But he's still pulling stuff with her this season.
I think if that was the case, he wouldn't have just disappeared for like 2 months after the season was over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that was the whole problem. That's what started all of this.
Yeah,
he
I
ran
know.
off to Thailand.
Well, because
he wasn't with other women though.
I bet he was.
Well, I mean,
I bet he was.
Yeah, but his Instagram, he was with his buddy.
Yeah, but just the persona he's shown.
I know, but I mean, he didn't leave with another woman. He left with his friend. He probably met some women along the way.
I would say multiple. But yeah, he wasn't like having like a relationship with someone during this.
Yeah,
that we know of.
Well,
right.
Anyway,
but that whole
know.
situation gets back to Cam and Kaylee because Cara and Marie tell them. It starts a big rift between Kaylee and Kyle. It's too many K names. They all run together.
Yeah,
and
that's why I've been having so much trouble.
Cara kind of fits in with that too, and so they have issues because Kaylee thinks, "Hey, we were on the UK shows together. We came over at the same time. We should have each other's back." And then they ask Kyle about it. He just lies. Like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And Marie's like, yes, you did.
And that's what ticks off Kaylee. She's like, no. And so, like, they kind of start to get into it. But then Brad jumps in.
Brad's done. He's like, I have kids.
Right.
I've got to step in and put this out.
Have I sent you that gif of the guy just going, look at my eyes?
No.
He gets his butt.
No, but I'm sure you will. No, but so like Brad steps in and not the way that you expect him to. You expect him, because he is quite a bit older than everybody else there, and he does have 2 kids at home that he keeps referencing that he's playing for. You expect him to step in, try to calm the waters, bring some peace. But no, he starts throwing all kinds of stuff at Kaylee, telling her that she just craps out of her mouth and he needs to bring some toilet paper to wipe her mouth off.
Yeah. It was very weird.
We're a clean podcast here.
Yeah. You can go watch it if you want. But it was very weird, and like it just kind of escalated very strangely to the point to where I was like, what? Why is Brad, like, I don't know like why they even got involved with it. But it kind of set up the feud between them, and we know leading into the double cross, there's an issue with them. So we get to the double cross.
And lo and behold,
Cam and Kaylee pull the first one.
Even pulling a double cross, she is top 5.
Okay. Well, I will say, Polly and Natalie went first. The one Natalie was standing right in front of that it looked like she was going to pull, she let Polly pick, and he picked the one to the left, and it ended up being not.
That's because Polly is not top 5, nor is Natalie.
True.
well,
Cam.
Polly is top 5 in living at the Redemption House
He's
forever.
top 5 in the losses in one season.
Oh, I can't wait to get to Polly tonight.
So we're not going to jump.
No, not yet.
So lo and behold, Cam and Kaylee pull the first double cross.
So happy
and then
to see
Brad
it.
and Kyle go next, and they pull the second one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny that the 2 teams that were fighting with each other were the 2 that pulled the double crosses. So they get a shot at an elimination to get back into the main house regardless.
So, yeah, after that, we see them go to a club, which, again, we've been on the record. It's stupid that the Redemption House gets to do this.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb that they live in a nice house.
Yeah.
It's really dumb that they get to go out.
And so they start scheming. Everyone's kind of talking who you should pick, whatever. And that's when Cam gets the idea, hey, we should pick
Paulie and Natalie.
Paulie and Natalie, and then Kyle will pick Cara and whatever. And that way, both girl teams had a chance to win.
Is there anyone that utilizes the power they have and processes it and thinks on it more and better than Cam?
No, she is absolutely,
this season, no.
Absolutely brilliant.
I mean,
she blows me away with how smart she is.
I will say, though, this one didn't work. It did not. I mean,
but we found out she didn't go through with it, and she had her reasons. But had she, I mean, she. All right, now you're questioning.
I'm not questioning her. I'm questioning if Kyle and Brad would do what they said they would have done regardless, because I don't know if they would have.
She was able to get a whole house to vote the way she wanted.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that.
When you give me those squinty eyes, I start to wonder what you're thinking.
He's talking about Kyle picking Cara.
Yeah.
He doesn't think I absolutely think that if Cam chose Paulie and Natalie and left Cara and Marie out, I absolutely think Kyle would have chosen Cara and Marie.
I don't know, because Davon and Jose have lost so many of these. That was the easier team to pick.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is we'll never know.
Yeah, again, we won't know. And we finally lose a Big Brother team. Finally.
But not the Big Brother team you wanted to
I didn't
lose.
want either of them to be there anymore because they both lost
now you're letting off
so
your
many
Paulie
times.
hate.
No. Again, neither one should be there anymore.
If you make your way to the Redemption House more than once,
3 times.
you need to go home.
Yeah. Like, again,
go home.
TJ even joked, like, oh, they've got a parking space there.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think that if you lose the elimination to get back into the main house, you go home.
I'm not a fan of the Redemption House.
I'm so frustrated
overall.
this season with that.
But
Another thing I made a note of, I am 95% sure, Statman Paul might need to check me on this, but this entire group from the Redemption House, I don't think they ever went to the surveillance room.
if they did, they never showed it.
Yeah.
They kind of, again, they just kind of abandoned that part of the show.
They showed their surveillance room with the previous 2 redemption groups, but not this one.
Yeah, again,
I don't know if there wasn't enough drama in the main house to use what.
Yeah, they may have just not. It wasn't a good enough selling point. They may have shown it and then decided we'll just cut that out. So, again, at this point, we see Zach and Amanda. We saw Zach earlier getting looked at by the doctors, and he said he was, he had pain here, but whatever.
He said that his whole nose was numb.
Yeah.
Like the doctor was pressing on the bridge, and he's like, I can't feel that.
So that,
which is alarming.
That's when TJ.
Whoa, you're jumping something.
What am I jumping?
Probably the greatest quote of all time.
Go for it.
We're living in the 2018 century, people.
I did forget about that. That's probably going
How
to
do
be
you forget
our episode
about
title.
that?
Because I just wrote FaceTime. I didn't write his quote down.
So that's the thing, right? Is how mesmerized he is
by
by
living in
FaceTime.
Oh, my goodness.
Because that's when they break it to the main house. Oh, there's going to be a double elimination with Redemption.
I think one of the segments we should do to close out the season, when it comes, is who smashed heads for the season.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I don't know how Nelson's not a runaway.
I will say, like, literally for our episode title for like the last like 3 or 4 weeks, we've just been trying to get quotes from Nelson.
It's been Nelson oriented.
Yeah.
But I mean,
last week we changed it at the last minute, but
I will say Nelson quotes have been plenty to choose from.
We should change our podcast name to 2018 Century People.
no.
Nope.
So yeah, anyway, we do that.
He was almost exactly 2,000 centuries ahead of us.
And then we see TJ is at the elimination, says, unfortunately.
And then that's when you know somebody's going home.
Yeah. Zach, you're not able to compete. This ends your time here.
That sends Amanda home.
Yeah, and Zach said he had something broken in here. And
But he also said he didn't regret any of it.
again, that's him being stubborn.
Yeah.
The thing is this was all so easily avoidable.
Oh,
I don't want to rehash
No.
everything that happened.
This 100% both their faults.
I still think they could have won this entire challenge.
They had a good dynamic that they screwed up because and ultimately, like, it made good TV because it played into the whole Vendettas angle. I will say, from my point of view, they are probably the most true Vendetta team on this show because everyone else has made friends with each other.
So
Yeah,
much
Shane
so,
and Nelson.
Yeah.
so much so that neither one of them seemed concerned with the fact that they don't have a shot at $1 million anymore. Like he seemed, both of them seemed completely fine. Like good, I don't have to be around them anymore.
Jose and Devon, they act like they're best friends. Natalie and Polly, they're best friends. Cara and Marie, they've turned the corner.
I think Natalie and Polly are more than friends.
Well, regardless, Cara and Marie.
I agree with you.
Cara and Marie have turned the corner. Kyle and Brad have turned the corner. Cam and Kaylee, like all these people are just friends now.
Yeah.
Zach and Amanda do not like each other at this point.
Well, I think when TJ said that Zach had to be sent home, he almost breathed a sigh of relief just to get away from Amanda. And then they did like their exit interview thing together, and she was like, well, at least I don't have to be stuck with him anymore. And he's like, yeah.
I will say I did forget Hunter and Ashley. They're probably runner-up on that list of people who really don't like each other. But anyway, we do that. We see Cam and Kaylee go first. They have to pick who they're going up against. They try to throw out, hey, we're going to pick Polly or Natalie. And Kyle is like, if you do, we're not picking Cara. Like, we're just not doing it.
I really think he would have, but he was just pulling a move over Cam.
And it worked. And so Cam and Kaylee picked Cara and Marie. And so we knew one of those teams was not going to make it out.
Right.
And so that's when Kyle's demeanor completely changed and he laughed and he's like, I would have picked them anyway. And
I really think he would
that was
have.
funny. That was funny to me. And so
I thought it was funny. Everybody else was really mad about it.
yeah, I thought it was funny. So they pick Polly and Natalie, which statistically best choice. Like they've lost 3 eliminations and
they even said that they chose them because they felt like they had the best chances.
That was 100% the best team to pick. I will say this elimination was probably the most like bizarre, like when it came to like the strength that Kyle and Brad had. Like it was not a puzzle. I mean, not that they're good at puzzles, but it wasn't really a strength thing.
Well, I mean, it kind of was for the person that was that was turning the thing. Like you had to have upper body strength for that. So obviously, Cara and Marie go against Cam and Kaylee. Kaylee was the one that was inside the bingo cage, and so was Marie. Cara, I think she had a pretty fine time turning that wheel. I don't think it bothered her at all. I think because she has so much upper body strength
and
that
core strength
that she could do it. Cam, I didn't see her get tired really.
Have you listened to the Cam interview yet?
Yes.
You haven't.
You did.
She didn't.
What'd you think?
She absolutely.
It was great.
She absolutely did.
I'm a really big Cam fan.
So,
which I have been.
Going back to that, she admitted to us like she did not work out and stuff before like all this, like going into the challenge. Like this was like she is now like we see her on Instagram and stuff. She says she goes to the gym, but you know she probably realized after some of these like, oh, I can't just rely on genetics at this point.
Yeah. So fast forward to Cam and Kaylee lose. They go back to Redemption House, which I'm okay with that because I wanted them to stay in the game. I really feel like Cam.
I feel like everyone who lost should have went home tonight.
I mean,
I still want to real quick applaud Cam because though she lost, number one, she is still in my top 5. And she even pointed out tonight, she lost to the original elimination OG.
Cara.
Being Cara.
She did.
But I will say, Marie won tonight. Marie
yes,
won.
It was Marie that did it for them. And it gave me feelings when they won. Marie said that she wanted to prove to everybody that she wasn't a layup, and when she won, Cara hugged her and she said, "I didn't do anything. That was all you.
She did
you
say
did
that.
that."
Well, and let's be honest.
like I got feelings, and then Cam ran over there and hugged both of them, and she said, "I'm so proud of you."
Well,
feelings.
We knew,
yeah,
deep down what Marie had in her.
I had feelings. Speaking of feelings, right before their elimination, Natalie looks absolutely undone. Like she is either going to barf everywhere or she's going to cry her eyes out.
She looked both.
Which they showed her 2 seconds after I wrote that. She was crying, wiping her eyes.
Jake's gonna
I'm still not so sure she was crying.
Jake thinks that because it was so cold that her eyes just started watering.
She was scared.
Go look at Brad's eyes.
I think she was so terrified going against Brad and Kyle. I think what it was, Natalie knew that she was going to be inside the wheel, and she thought Brad was going to be turning the wheel, and she was. I think she was scared.
They've also
to
lost
go in
3 eliminations already.
But I think she was scared for her life going into a wheel thinking Brad was going to turn it, because think of how big Brad is.
Yeah,
Think how big his eyes are.
And we thought that's what was going to happen, was that Brad was going to be the one turning in Kyle.
That's what made sense.
And I don't know if it's because Kyle's taller or what. Like, they may have thought if we put Brad in the cage, he weighs more, it's going to be harder for Paulie to turn.
Yeah.
Which we do see that happen towards, he tires out. And, but again, when they started, like, she was swallowed. Like, you couldn't even see her at some points.
Well, she immediately was going, ow, 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 which I thought was so funny.
It was funny.
Because it was very high-pitched and very, like, soft.
I will
like
say,
she couldn't get it out.
I will say the way that the editing was going before they cut to a break, I looked at you guys and I said, either they're going to get destroyed or they are going to come back and win this, and they're setting it up for a dramatic moment.
Yeah.
Well, let's make no mistake. Natalie got destroyed.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Kyle was
But I
spinning
meant it would like lose like 1-5.
Right.
Kyle was spinning that wheel so fast.
So effortlessly.
It was like a dog with a rag doll. Just ripping her to shreds. Like literally ripping her, because when they got out, her pants were ripped in several different spots. She was bleeding. Her chin was bleeding.
She earned it tonight.
Yeah.
It again. She did good. I don't know what happened with Brad. Like I really don't, because I mean we saw Paulie legitimately got thrown off of the platform because he let go of that bar and it flipped him up in the air, which was really funny.
Yeah,
by the way,
it was like I laughed out loud. So yeah, I don't know if you guys heard this, but while Kyle was super spinning Natalie, Johnny yelled out, "You're gonna kill her, dude!"
Yep.
Everyone said that.
Like everybody was really concerned.
At one point, Kaylee tried to help her, and then she turned around and she just stopped mid sentences. They're like, "Oh, she's done," basically.
Yeah,
and
it's like she knew she couldn't do anything, so she was just,
or she's not gonna hear.
It's like Natalie knew she couldn't do anything. She was just letting herself be thrown around.
And she got her head slammed in a couple times.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was really scary.
That helmet saved her.
I thought it was funny that Paulie had to spin Brad, who's like twice his size.
Well, Natalie's not going to spin anybody.
No, but you could see him even like starting out. He struggled the whole time.
I think that's why they did it the way they did. They put Brad in. He's heavier. It's harder to spin. It made sense to me.
Yeah. Well, he was struggling the whole time. Until he kicked himself off, literally kicked himself off of the platform, and then got back up.
That bar caught his leg and it flipped him.
Yeah, but like he moved his leg to get it caught on there. Yeah. But once he got back up, he like went double time and actually like. Well,
at first he struggled. He couldn't get it to turn over. He lost all that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got it back, and then again, credit where credit's due. Natalie just got it done.
Yeah.
Let's address the real issue here. And I'm by no means a Paulie fan, but you have been one this entire season talking about the borderline hatred that you have for this man they call Paulie.
That's not true.
Dislike.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Dislike. The fact is, he took a shovel, put you in the dirt, and buried you tonight.
No.
Because he did. Listen.
No.
This man, as Hannah pointed out, was tired out. He was done. He didn't have anything left. And then he got this last gasp, this last burst of energy.
Not even true.
Well,
and
I
came
will say,
through.
I don't think
not even true.
It's not that
it's true.
Natalie won.
She did.
Paulie did not win tonight.
It's not that he didn't have anything left. It's that he didn't start out with anything.
No, he still.
But I give all the credit to Natalie.
I give the credit to Natalie. He did not do anything tonight the same way that Cara didn't do anything tonight other than they spun a wheel. Natalie won for them tonight. Paulie, as far as I'm concerned, is still 0-4 in eliminations. He should not be on the show anymore, and you're just playing it up because you know that it's true.
You can't stand it. You can't stand that he's still in this house.
You said the same thing. You don't believe he should still be in here.
I never said that. I never said that.
So after losing 3 eliminations, you believe he still should have a shot in this house?
Listen, the rules are the rules.
Exactly. You don't have an answer.
The fact is that the rule is that he can still be in this game. And I think it's incredible that he's still here when they won tonight.
It's not incredible. It is 100% the most lucky thing, like, event.
You can't even get your words out.
Don't even talk to me about getting words out. You can't even talk most of the time.
Now you're just being mean.
So it is the most like inconsequential things. He has done nothing to earn his spot in this house.
Do you know why I love this so much? It's because it's making you squirm right now.
It's not making me squirm. I knew when it happened tonight and you got up and did a dance around the room because you knew that it was stupid that they're back in the house.
Your insides are literally turned in every opposite direction that can be turned right now.
No, but it's because...
Your heart is pumping backwards.
That doesn't even make sense.
I think that it's dumb that we are so close.
Look at our voice meters on this.
Well, you did it. You caused this.
I think it's absolutely stupid that we are so close to the final. They have lost elimination after elimination
3.
after elimination, and they finally win one, but it's this close to the final. And I think that's absolutely downright, indisputably stupid.
And here's the other thing. If they would have lost tonight, they would have gotten to go back into redemption again.
And wait it out.
That's the flaw with the whole thing. They have not won any dailies. They've lost all of the eliminations they've been in up until tonight, when, again, Natalie won her side of things 100%. Anyone up there could have spun the wheel.
Can I throw out a quote to you?
It's going to be stupid. I know it already.
One of the great wrestlers, the great African-American wrestler, the greatest African-American wrestler of all time, Booker T. Are you familiar with his work? Not Washington.
No, I know Booker T.
Booker T, 5-time champion. His Twitter handle is Booker T 5 times because he's a 5-time champ.
Yeah, I got it.
He said, "Don't hate the player, hate the game."
Well, I hate the elimination game this season. I will outright say that. I hate it.
You were just trying to spin it now because you know that I don't like that it's still a viability that he's in the house, because it doesn't make any sense that he should still be given a chance.
If you look at it this way, which is the way that it is, if you go into the redemption house, you sit there for weeks and hang out and drink.
Get to go to the club.
And get to go to the club while the people in the main house do dailies. They do, I don't know how many dailies, and then there's people in the redemption house that just sit there and hang out.
No. You're not talking next. I'm next.
No.
How many daily challenges took place when the first group went into a redemption house until the double cross was pulled?
Yeah.
How many daily challenges were there?
At least like 5.
Exactly. So I think if you want the best shot at making it to the final in this game,
you go to the redemption house.
You go to the redemption house and you wait it out like a hen.
Yeah, that's...
All right, say what you need to say, and then I got something that you can't refute. You can't.
Oh, I already don't. I don't even care what you're going to say. I can refute it.
Say what you need to say.
It is 100% insane that they are still in this game because they suck and their friends suck and just happen to pull a double cross. That's the only reason they're still in. They lost 3 times. It's not even been possible to lose 3 eliminations before this season. Like, that's not a thing that could ever happen before.
Could it be because one of the things that Paulie had to do, and that he's even talked about throughout the season, is help with Natalie's psyche, right? We all agree that Natalie is not necessarily the strongest mentally.
No.
Okay.
Or physically.
Could it be that Paulie was enough of an encourager that it empowered her to push through tonight? That even as she was in that metal ball with all the rest of the plastic or rubber balls, whatever they were,
I think plastic, yeah,
getting beat up as bad as anyone has this season, that she remembered the encouragement. No. The words.
You said I couldn't refute this. I can absolutely
the words
refute
that
this.
Paulie spoke to her.
It's all conjecture.
Instilled in her.
Honestly, I think what it was Kyle finally got tired out and stopped spinning for a second, and she was so desperate to get out that she just put everything out there.
Well, let me say this.
Also, she knew if they lost again, that was 4 eliminations they'd lost in one season.
There is something about when somebody believes in you that puts you over the edge, that gives you that extra little push. I know it. I've experienced it in my life. I know what I'm capable of, but when I know that someone believes in me, then I'm able to do the impossible. And she did that. And could it be that it's because Paulie inspired her?
No. I don't believe it. I absolutely think it's because she was so desperate to get out of that cage. She was afraid of getting banged up more when Kyle caught his breath and started spinning the wheel again.
Again, Kyle's a smoker. He may have stopped way more than what we thought.
Yeah.
And
but he was spinning her really fast. And
at the beginning, he was
getting absolutely banged up.
Again, I knew when this happened, you were going to come at this angle tonight, and I was ready for it. And I was like,
I was ready for it.
I was like, this is maybe the one time we have to like beep out stuff on the show.
Are you going to say something?
No, but I knew you were going to play up this angle because you knew how insane it is. It is 100% asinine that they are still in this
Watch
game.
your language.
That they are still allowed to compete because they have not competed. They have lost 3 eliminations, not dailies, not coming last place in 3 dailies. They've lost head-to-head eliminations 3 times and were able to stick around because it's a flawed system that their friends all suck too, and we're able to keep them back in the game. I'm glad Jose and Devon are gone because we finally have a team that lost out of here.
You know, it was just last season with the Tennessee Titans, right? We were losing to crap teams.
Yeah?
All right? Playing like crap. Going to overtime with the Browns.
Yeah.
And a team like the Chiefs had played well all year.
Okay, this logic's already dumb because...
And they came into Kansas City to Arrowhead, the great Arrowhead Stadium, and they won.
Yeah, okay.
So they don't deserve that now because they played like crap most of the year, and
no.
Mike Mularkey's an idiot.
So here's your rationale on that, which is where this is going to go.
Can I have a cookie?
Yeah, you can, as long as you don't eat it while we're recording.
So here's the thing. All of the games you're talking about when they lost, those were not elimination games. Those were not you lose and you go home games. You hear me?
I was just asking if I could have 2.
I know.
Well, they're stuck together.
Those were not games that if you lost, you were done with your season. If they would have lost like the Chiefs did in that first round, our season would have been over because that's an elimination. It's the best team wins and you move on, which is how this challenge has been every time leading up to this. Your reasoning would say that the Titans should have been able to take like 8 weeks off, not played anybody, and then shown up at the end in the Super Bowl, and hey, if they win, they win.
With their play, they essentially
it.
took a few weeks off.
But that's what I'm saying. Your analogy is so flawed, and I know you're doing it because...
You're flawed.
Exactly. You don't have an excuse. you basically...
I think you're doing it to get him riled up.
Because your whole logic is they lost the first 3 games of the season. They should just be able to sit out until the Super Bowl or the playoffs start, and then they get a chance. And even if they lose, they get to wait around until some other team loses, and they might get a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Let me be clear.
You're not being.
Let me be clear. I believe what comes out of my mouth.
That's your problem.
And I believe you are upset that this has happened. You hate it. You'd love to see Sig T back. You'd love to see
Zach and Amanda.
Still
Jimmy,
around.
Jenna.
No, you can't stand it that he's still here.
I'd even rather see Brittany and Chuck.
The Redemption House
I would like
is
to see
a
Brittany
flawed concept. 100%. It just is.
Well, then why don't you write in about it?
You got to stop eating in the microphone. People are going to get so mad about that.
I'm sorry.
Well, regardless, back to the actual show
That's his fault.
that we're trying to watch. So Natalie pulled one for the team. She got that W for them.
Both the underdogs won.
Yeah, which was really surprising. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for Kaylee and Brad to figure out why they've got to yell at each other so much.
I still, even though I like those 2 teams, Cam and Kaylee and Brad and Kyle, whoever lost tonight should have gone home.
Yeah.
They should not go back into redemption at this point, this far in the season.
I agree with that. I love Cam and I like...
But you still haven't listened to our interview with her.
I like Kyle a lot. I think he's a great addition to this show. I say it every week. I think he really is just so funny and just,
Brad's turned the corner again this season.
He doesn't look so out of his mind anymore. But I mean, as much as I don't want them to go home, I still think that they should have gone home after losing an elimination.
I agree.
Back to what I was trying to get to. I don't know if either of you caught this, but when Natalie and Paulie won, they cut to bananas, and he was talking about how the last time Natalie was in the house, which was like the first or second episode of the season.
Yeah, they haven't been in the house since episode 2.
He said that they left things on bad terms, and he would like to kind of smooth things out. And just the way that he was talking about her, it almost sounded like he kind of halfway wants to try to rekindle things with her.
She said something similar.
Yeah, even though she said that she's supposed to be in a relationship with somebody. I don't know, because I really think that she and Paulie have been doing stuff in the Redemption House to pass the time.
Yep.
I mean, it's been like 2 months.
Yeah, but I kind of think that there's a part of Bananas and maybe even a part of Natalie that kind of want to make things work with each other.
Maybe, but again,
does that make you mad too? What else makes you mad?
The way that you tried to prove that logic.
Honestly, I would rather see Bananas with Natalie than him with Angela.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like Natalie.
Natalie's just a sweet person.
She is.
Angela wants to yell and fight everybody.
Yeah. No, again, it was weird, and again, that's a gray area with her and Bananas, because since then she's come out of the closet, and
she said she was in a relationship with someone.
Exactly. So again, that whole area is real gray with relationships, but
I think they still have feelings for each other.
And newsflash to Brad, and I like Brad, Nelson doesn't have a whole awful lot to prove.
8-1.
Right.
Yeah.
Proved quite a bit.
I
Speaking of Nelson, so
I don't even have any more notes at this point.
I do. This is my last note. Kaylee runs up to Nelson after the eliminations and tells Nelson about how Brad was yelling at her in the Redemption House, and Nelson gets all territorial, really protective of her
because he fancies her
a lot, which I think was really funny that she went to him asking for.
She fancies him.
She's asking for him to defend her. So Nelson comes at Brad, and Brad's like, "Oh, you don't want to do this with me, la la la." And Nelson's like, "You're getting old, man."
You said la la la.
Yeah, he did. But like, I think Nelson is the first person that we've seen on the show tell Brad that he's getting old. And he's acting real childish.
I feel like there's been some jabs, but I can't lock down any specifics.
I don't know that anybody has told him, you're getting old.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. He's been on the show since like 1996. Not quite, but it's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. And Brad's like double the age of everybody else there.
No, he's not that. Nelson's 30. Brad's not 60.
Nelson's 30?
Yeah, he's my age.
I thought he was like 23.
No, Hunter's the youngest. He's like 25. Corey's like 28. And then Nelson is 30.
These people act like they're 15. They're too old to be acting like that.
Well, and Marie's 30. And Shane's like 35 or 36. I mean, they just live different lives than us.
Some of them are just too childish. Brad, for sure. Telling a young lady that she craps out her mouth and she needs toilet paper to wipe her mouth off.
At least he didn't call her horse face.
She does have a pretty filthy mouth out of them, though. She I don't know if that's the British side of her. They're pretty liberal with the things that they say.
When she gets fired up, man, she's ready.
I know.
Yeah, but regardless, Nelson comes at Brad telling him he's old, and it struck a chord too, man.
That's when the episode ended, right?
Yep. And then preview, I wrote all caps, fights, exclamation point.
Yeah, and we
brought up the fight like 20 times.
Well, we knew it was coming. We knew there's only a handful of episodes left. We know that at this point. I mean, we actually don't know when the finale is, but we know at this point there's only a handful of episodes left, and so we knew the fight's coming because they've teased it. We paused it and broke some things down. We're not going to talk about it on here in case you didn't do it. So we think we have a pretty good idea of who it was involved in both sides.
But we're anxious to see
how it plays out, like what led to it, all that type of thing. And so
everybody loves a good fight.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good TV.
That's right.
We haven't had a real challenge fight in a long time. Like the Kayla and whatever one at the beginning of the season, that wasn't a fight.
We haven't seen anything like CT coming after somebody.
It's been a long time. Like I really can't remember who the last fight was that we've had.
Nelson, Derek. maybe.
But they were just pushing each
Oh,
other.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to bring up something.
We
You
haven't-
always shoot me down.
It's been years since we've seen anybody throw hands.
Yeah, that I can remember.
You know who's a jacking dude with those hands?
I'm waiting.
I don't know where you're going
You
with
not?
this.
Who?
Our guy Zach Randolph. Are you serious?
I didn't
Are
know
you
you-
not aware?
I didn't know
We
you were
have not
going
been
that
talking
way.
about basketball.
No,
this
but that
whole
is
time.
one of the more iconic quotes from him. I'm a jacking dude with these hands.
Okay.
You know
Hannah,
what?
who smashed some heads
You're not a fan.
this week?
Not of the Kings.
The Grizzlies, he said it when he's on the Grizzlies.
I'm going to say this week Marie smashed heads because I really don't think anybody in the main house wanted or even expected her to be able to pull out that W in their elimination, and she proved everybody wrong, and I was just really proud of her. I think she did great.
I'll go next. Similarly, mine's Natalie. She won that elimination, and
Okay.
she was getting destroyed early
Yeah.
on.
I'd give you that.
And she pulled it out. And
That's a
so
good one.
they've literally gotten their head smashed over and over and over again.
She
this season.
literally got her head smashed on those
I know,
metal
tonight.
wires, cages, bars.
And so yeah, again, she won. I give it to her. Like
Enough so that she came out and her chin was bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
But she couldn't have done it without her teammate.
yeah, of course, I knew you were going to do this.
Paulie!
This is the one time I think I will refute your answer
He
on
didn't
this.
do anything.
You don't have that
except-
right.
I do.
He-
I'll
he-
edit this whole part out.
He didn't do anything except literally fall on his face
Well, if he
in
just
a
let
pile of dirt.
Brad sit in the ball pit, Brad wins easily.
Maybe.
Am I right? Am I right? I'm right. Paulie.
You've not been right about this whole argument, so I'm
know.
not going to give you this.
Paulie.
Hey Hannah, who got their head smashed? Paulie. He literally smashed himself.
I put Zach and Amanda because they're gone,
Yep.
and it's their fault.
Yep. I agree with that.
That's. I didn't want to do elimination based. They went home because he fractured his nose because they put themselves into elimination because they
Right.
couldn't make up their minds.
Well, my head smashed wasn't elimination based. It was just the fact that he tripped himself and then literally fell on his face.
Nelson.
Why, Nelson?
2018th century.
He's just saying things that would indicate that his head has been smashed.
He had a key and I had a key and we both put them in there.
Those holes open or wide or whatever.
Felt so good going in those holes or something like that.
Who knows? Again, he's just gotten a little gayer as the show's gone on.
And that's okay.
Good for Nelson.
So
I think Shane likes it. He thinks it's funny.
Oh yeah, I think he
Entertaining.
thinks it's hilarious. So who wants to do album first?
Mine, I have Young the Giant, their self-titled album, their debut. It was really great.
I literally don't know.
No idea.
I love that album.
I'll.
Go ahead.
You want me to go next?
Sure.
I went again. We both know we went heavier this week, like a heavier band. But I don't think we went the same. I went with Between the Buried and Me, Alaska.
Yeah, but boy, are they boring live.
Yes, we saw them. Well, we saw them, to be fair, right after this CD on their next one, which is all one song
Right.
played back to back to back to back for an hour.
Yeah.
And so they played it live like that without any breaks. They didn't play any stuff that we were looking forward to. So yeah,
We left mid-set, did we not?
Yeah, it because we had to drive like 2.5 hours back, and so we went to their merch.
But if it was a good show, we would have stayed.
Yeah, I asked their merch guys like, hey, are they gonna play any songs not off this album? And he said no, and so we left. They were the last band though, so
Yeah.
But that's my pick though, Alaska. It's great. It's got some of the best like heavy and then pretty music together.
Mm-hmm.
You've made me listen to that.
Well, in out of respect to the big UK sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Resurgence.
Presence. The UK presence we have on the show now.
You're gonna pick the Clash.
No, Architects. My album from my high school days is Hollow Crown by Architects. Now, I will
Architects
say
UK.
UK.
There's two Architects bands.
Right. This guy, the front man, Sam, the way his vocals project, the way he's able to, during his screams, still sound like he's singing is art within itself. And they're actually coming out with a new album called Holy Hell.
You made me listen to it.
It's going to be incredible. It is songwriting at its finest, in my opinion, and it's poetry. It's real. I haven't listened to much music and thought like just been mesmerized by songwriting, and it's really good. So it comes out at the beginning of November, so a little push for them. But as far as high school album of the week, Hollow Crown by Architects UK.
I just never listened to them. I mean, they're just one of the bands that I never did. Hannah, did you listen to them?
Oh yeah, all the time.
What was your favorite song?
You know that one. I think it was like the third track on that album.
What was the title of it though?
This is track number 3.
They're very meta like that.
That's all you could come up with.
They're meta.
Like Community.
Oh.
So the segment that we've been doing for the last few weeks.
That I've been having a lot more fun with than the music part.
I think most people have enjoyed this segment.
We had some people say they were going to watch all of them from last week. So
yeah.
Watch all the movies?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll
enjoy Pride and Prejudice from last week.
I'll go first for this one. Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah. Never seen it.
It's so funny.
It's so fun. Like
seen
it's just a bunch of comedians pretending to be like 17 years
Amy
old.
Poehler's in it. Paul Rudd.
Michael Ian Black, Elizabeth Banks, Michael
Bradley
Showalter.
Cooper.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people, and they're like 17-year-old camp counselors, but they're all like 30 when they're doing it.
Yeah,
it's great. There's
clearly not 17.
2 Netflix series after it.
Oh man, that movie. It's all the good comedians.
Joe Vitrulio from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Just good people.
So yeah, that's my pick.
Good movie. It's a good movie.
Since we're getting into the holiday season,
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. But if you want to get ready for it, and you're just looking to sit down and have a good time.
For a Thanksgiving movie?
Christmas.
Charlie Brown and the Giant Pumpkin.
That's not the one.
No, I'm sorry, what is the Great Big Pumpkin?
You can watch this with your kids, your parents, your family in its entirety, your girlfriend, your boyfriend.
The family pet?
I would watch anything with the dog. But that movie is Jingle All the Way.
Is that because it's your last name?
My last name is not Jingle, but I do go by that a lot. But this movie...
Objectively not a good movie.
Not a good movie.
But it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's a good How Did This Get Made podcast about it.
And it's not Terminator.
I had a Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
I got a Turbo Man for Christmas when that movie came out.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the toy to get at that time.
I think it may be the only movie that was made to push a toy.
Yeah, well, they did a good job because...
I got one.
Watching that movie, like... It's a toy you're impressed by. And then when he suits up as Turbo Man, it's just
I will say
great.
The toy was lacking. And I got the one that like he shot the things out of his arm.
You got the fancy one.
And it did.
You didn't get Booster, did you?
No, I didn't get Booster.
It has one of the great movie lines of all time. Can I do it real quick?
I mean, you're going to anyway.
Put that cookie down now! Because he's talking to...
Speaking of... Phil Hartman was in that movie.
Yeah, that's who he's talking to when he says it.
Rest in peace.
Is he dead?
He got killed in the 90s.
Oh, my God.
How did you not know? You're like 20 years late.
His wife murdered him and then killed herself.
How did you not know about that?
Murder-suicide.
Yeah,
huh?
murder-suicide. And he was on SNL at the time, I think. If not, he had just quit.
Man.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Like, legitimately, like, super funny guy. Seemed like one of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah.
And then his wife killed her and then killed herself. Killed
him, and then killed herself.
Yeah. It was really sad. I remember when it happened.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry to shatter your world.
Yeah.
You just haven't thought about him in like 20 years.
Zach, don't ever push me over the edge.
Last week.
Man.
Yeah, I was thinking up ways to kill you. My movie of the week, I think I've prefaced this before. I'm going down my list of all my top all-time favorite movies of all time ever made. And so last week was my number 2. This week's going to be my number 3. It's going to be 16 Candles.
Shout out to Chico.
It's
got a bunch of Molly Ringwald stuff.
I love Molly Ringwald.
He posted something about her today, I think.
She's so awesome. I just love her. And she was so great. Ladies of the 80s.
I just got that thing you sent us, Jake, from like 40
She's
minutes
great.
ago about the guy pointing at his eyes.
That's a good one, right?
It legitimately was 40 minutes ago, so we got to wrap this show up.
Yes,
I
we
know.
do.
I'm,
Yes, we
I'm
do.
done.
So
16 candles, number 3.
again, reach out to us. We appreciate the love on Twitter. It means a lot to us when you rate it. And
We read all the emails.
we do read the emails. 5-star ratings on iTunes go a long way for people to find our show. So
Write a review.
if it's nice, and so just do that. Email us smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com, at smashingheads on Twitter,
Not PC anymore because we're no longer pretty cute.
at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram, Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook, and our Podbean is smashingheads.podbean.com. I don't remember our iTunes URL. It's really long.
Well, and I was going to, because I've been going back and listening to like the first and last 10 minutes of our old episodes, which, by the way, I feel like we found a groove. I feel like we've gotten more comfortable doing this. Some of it, to me, is a little unbearable to listen to.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just, I felt like I, in particular, was being a tryhard.
You were. I'm trying to open the cookies. He snapped
Do
the
you want
lid
one?
down.
No.
Well, what I was going to provide some highlights to celebrate our 15th recap.
Yeah, I was about to say it's our 16th episode. It's our actually 21st overall
yeah,
episode.
get it
Yeah.
together.
It's our 16th other episode.
Because there are some real funny moments, but I'll save it for the open next week.
We'll save it
And
till
we've
next
even
week.
talked about doing, at the end of the season, like after we've done our finale episode.
Like a look back.
Like a look back and playing old clips and just reminiscing on what has been our first season with the challenge and everyone that has listened with us.
I didn't know about the recap.
And
thing.
our views have changed on a lot of people since the
Nobody
opening
told
of
me
this
about
show.
that.
Do you not want to be a part of it?
No, you just didn't. Nobody told me.
We're telling you now.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Here we are. We're going to do a recap and reminisce and meditate on the good times.
And as always, we will be back next week. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Weird.
Can I do it again? Don't stop it.
No, it was weird.
Have a good
Leave
night,
it.
everyone.